trying to indict Donald Trump over J6?
Well, every single thing they've thrown at him, he's turned it right back in their face, and he's proven to be right. They're wrong. They're just trying to bring him down, and you can't bring down a giant like Donald J. Trump. And I'll be honest, I think he would welcome that indictment. He would welcome a trial. I think he said it would be the trial of the century. I don't think that when they thought of all of that, and maybe during those meetings with his attorney, the attorneys brought it up and said, do you really want this? Because it's going to come right back in your face. They're playing checkers, and President Trump is playing, chess at the highest level. So I don't think they want to pick a fight with him.
Folks, on the TV show I do once a week, one of the running jokes was that I would say, oh, is this where they get him? Talking about Donald Trump, because there were all these times that they said the walls are closing in. They've got him this time. He's cornered. He's raging at the White House, and he is in big trouble. But you know what? This could actually be one of the times where they actually get him. It looks like when it comes to the document situation at Mar-a-Lago, Donald Trump did a lot of the things they allege that he did. Now, there's a lot of debatable stuff about whether he declassified this or declassified that, and that's a great conversation to have. If the guy hadn't been on tape saying, I didn't declassify these things, otherwise, maybe we could have that conversation. Then there's the conversation about obstruction and all these other things, which is a real problem. These are real crimes. Are they crimes looking for a cover-up? Are they cover-ups looking for a crime? Whatever. When they're investigating you, just because you didn't do anything doesn't mean you can lie to them. That's the law. It's pretty simple here. When Donald Trump finds himself losing Newsmax, maybe there's a problem. You got to check this clip out. It's Newsmax. And I think it's pretty fair. I don't watch a lot of Newsmax, but what these guys are saying seems pretty straight.
With us. Dwayne, I wanted to start with the charges that came out last night. How does this change the scenario in that documents case in your mind?
Well, to me, the old saying that the cover-up is worse than the crime, that it may apply here. Now, that's assuming that he did what they said that he did. But, trying to cover something up, number one, tells me that there must be something in the surveillance video that's damning to him, which gives me a little pause. And just the fact that they brought in two lower level people to charge them so they can put pressure on them and threaten them with prison time if they don't testify against Donald Trump. And so I think that's what they're up to.
The cover-up is worse than the crime. And in this case, that might very well be the truth. When they asked him for the documents back, he should have just given them back. A lot of times you hear comparisons to Pence and Biden and all this other stuff, that they shouldn't have had these documents, all this other stuff. Great, wonderful, fine. But when they asked for them back, they got them back. So they're not going hard at him because of it. In this particular case, Donald Trump didn't give them back. In fact, he resisted. And to most accounts, or some accounts, he had his personal bag man basically moving boxes to other places so he could go through them. And then he's telling his attorneys to say things that aren't true, that they've given back all the documents, and then they go and they find more. I mean, this is not the behavior of a smart person. This is the behavior of a stupid person doing a stupid thing.
Thomas, you're a former FBI agent. Tell us what stands out most to you here as this new information continues to come out.
Well, the big picture is this, because that's what I write about the Department of Justice and the FBI in general. And the big picture is, in the minds of a lot of Americans, it's uneven. The Biden family and administration seem to be getting away or let off easy with a lot. And more keeps being piled on top of Donald Trump. However, in the documents case, he really, quite honestly, has brought a lot of this on himself foolishly. It was avoidable. He could have cooperated early in it. And they definitely have some specific information on him there. Number one, the tape recording of him talking about those war plans and allegedly displaying a document in Bedminster. And then most recently, as your other guest mentioned, two working level employees now being threatened with jail time. I imagine they're in quite a bind, and they could maybe be forced to turn on the former president.
So he brought a lot of this on himself. And I think that's still the story here. He's bringing this on himself. Are these things worth anything to anyone but him? I don't know. I don't know. But apparently there's Iranian attack plans in here. I don't know why he needs those as a keepsake. He can make the argument that he was keeping them for safekeeping because the deep state was coming for him or something along those lines. He can make that argument in court, I guess. But he brought all this upon himself because when they asked for him back, not only did he not say, here they are, I have a right to these, let's have a conversation about it. He worked to obstruct them finding out what he actually had. That's a problem for Donald Trump. And now it's a problem for these low-level guys. Now, maybe they'll be honorable to Donald Trump or whatever, loyal. But if he did what they're alleging he did here, and that is tell people to delete stuff because they knew there was something on it, that tells you there's a guilty conscience there and it's obstruction. Just a complete self-created problem. And I know. We'll hear that Newsmax is just like Fox News now. And it's kind of funny. Just think about this. If everyone that you used to love is saying, hey, maybe you did something wrong, maybe you did something wrong. Maybe Newsmax, even people who would defend you normally, are saying, hey, there's something to this. We are heading down a path in the Republican Party. As I'm a Republican, I'll acknowledge that. We are heading down a path in the Republican Party where we are looking at nominating a guy, and he's running away with it, no question about it. They're looking at nominating a guy who is going to have multiple convictions. National security crimes, obstruction of justice crimes. These things seem like this is where they're going to get him. The January 6th stuff, that's stupid. The fake election stuff, that's stupid. That's nonsense. It's bad legal opinions, bad political opinions, and they're trying to prosecute for him. He was persecuted for his entire presidency. The swamp ate him alive, and it's continuing to do so here. But just because of the swamp doesn't mean they don't occasionally get it right. He beat them because he was right. In this particular case, it doesn't really appear that he is. It's not really something you can flippantly call a witch hunt if you're a witch. And in this particular case, maybe Donald Trump is the witch. Self-created problem here. And now it's a problem for everybody. Because if this continues, yeah, sure, we can talk about how, people love him more now that he got indicted. Okay, I don't disagree with that. That's true. It doesn't make any sense to me, but I can acknowledge that that's true. He gets the nomination. He's got multiple convictions. What are the chances he actually flips people from Biden to him? And you can say, he won in 2020, and that's how he's going to win Nevada, like Donald Trump's brilliant strategy of winning Arizona was, we already won it. Well, that's great. Except there have been multiple people that have been making those claims in public who said, no, we never believed that. Only he thought that. So here we are again looking at what's going to happen to Donald Trump, and we're asking ourselves, is this good for the country? And the obvious answer is no. Because if this continues, Donald Trump gets convicted, forget about Biden or Trump winning the next election. The next president of the United States is going to be Kamala Harris. Because Joe Biden is going to waltz into a re-election, and then they're going to say, well, why don't we just give it to Kamala Harris and let her have 10 years? That's what we're looking at here. That's the real danger. And I know, the love affair with Donald Trump, no one's going to be convinced. I get it. The people in the comments are going to say, you think you can convince us with this? We don't care. That's great. I understand that. I'm just explaining to you where you're wrong. And it's okay to be wrong. It's wrong. It's okay to have differing opinions and be wrong. That's completely all right. But in November of 2024, there's going to be a lot of complaining about how things could have been versus how they're going to be. And Republicans have a chance to change that conversation. But it looks like they are heading full speed into taking a guy who is looking down the barrel That's some serious stuff at Mar-a-Lago. The rest of the stuff seems like BS. But the Mar-a-Lago stuff seems real. And people who have been appointed by him are saying so. His favorite network now is saying so. It might be time to understand that if everyone is telling you you're wrong, you might be the one that's wrong. This might be where they get it.